Hey, y'all. Hey, happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is a total different setup for me. So let me see if we are live yet. If you can see or hear us, make sure that you are saying hey in the chat. We are going to get started with some super exciting things today on this Vintage 101, all about antique clocks, antique and vintage clocks. So let's make sure. Oh, we are on. We are on. Yay. Okay, thanks so much for coming by. Hey, Mama, thank you so much for coming by. We're going to give people a few minutes to make sure that the notification bells went out. I'm super excited for today. I've already had my lesson on clocks, so I am good to go. If there's any problems, Mom, let me know if their internet is different or something happens where we lose sound or something like that. Hey, Dolores, this is Miss Dam Jewelry is another reseller. She's in the UK.
Oh,
she's
nice.
originally from Houston, but she lives in the UK.
Oh, I love that.
So super excited. We are on location, y'all. First time I've ever done an on location live, but because of our subject matter, it was better if you saw it in person. So let me go ahead and tell you that this is a live chat, a little informational chat. It is not a sale, although I just walked through the door. And if you have not seen the video where I did a shop along in here, it's actually two parts. Excuse me, because this place is massive. And when I walked in, the first thing that I said was, oh my gosh, you have all new stuff. And she's got new vendors, new stuff. Stuff has been moved around. Hey, Barbie, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, she said Fort Bend County is where she was.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm reading the chat on my phone, y'all. So I see Newton's Cupboard. Oh, yeah. She's listening. Newton's Cupboard is from Kentucky, and that's one of our friends from Kentucky. So we are here at Vogelsang Antique Emporium, and it is in Rosenberg, right?
Yes, Rosenberg, Texas.
Rosenberg,
Yes.
Texas.
Uh-huh.
And so this is the one, again, I did a two-part shop along and haul. Remember, y'all, it's the one with the bakery upstairs because I went crazy about it. And those things are so good.
So good.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Those big pecan rolls, they didn't last
And
very
it's
long.
horrible shopping. I mean, just sitting here and smelling it. I always have to buy them. So.
And she had those, they're like yeast Danishes.
Oh,
They were so good. Anyway, we digress. I just wanted to tell you again that if you didn't watch that video, I will link that, or it should be already linked in the description below. It was a two-part, but it looks like I'm going to have to come back and film again because it's all new stuff. I walked in and got hit right in the face with some vintage Christmas, and I was like, oh no. So I want to introduce Miss Joan Huey, as in like Huey Lewis and the News.
Baby Huey. Baby.
Yeah.
You know that too.
She is the owner of Vogelsang Antique Emporium here in Rosenberg, Texas. So if you are local or if you are within a traveling distance to Texas, the Rosenberg area, there is this big shop and a couple of other shops on the next street.
About 15 really. We're just a really great little community of antique stores.
And so, y'all, it's a day trip. Like, you could spend all day. I spent probably, I think I was in here almost over 2 hours when I came in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I was like, I had to, of course, you know, if you've shopped with me, Debbie will tell you, my friend Debbie, who shopped with me, said I touch everything. So, like, I don't just scan, I touch everything.
You have to.
Oh, yeah. So they're closed today, Dolores. I'm trying to read the chat on the phone. They're closed today. So I'm not shopping today, but I will be coming back. I have an upcoming day off in January. Plus, y'all are going to be open this week or?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. The only day we're closed is Thanksgiving. And then we'll be open for Black Friday. And then we have the Small Business Saturday where we're doing a cookie walk. And, we're looking to have a lot of people. We're staying open, through our 10 to 5, but we'll have a lot of people through here. So
I think you had me at cookie.
Like that. Come on over.
Cookie walk. I did see it. It's a little blue piece of paper on the door, right?
Yeah.
So it's where all of these antique, I think I've been here one other time, and they have different cookies in the different shops. So y'all, I want to introduce again Miss Joan Huey of Clocks and Things. And she also owns Vogelsang Antique Emporium. So she's got kind of a dual role for us today. Thank you so much for letting me come in.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to, share everything that I know with the audience, and any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
So I'm going to actually be standing over here reading the chat because you don't want to hear from me. You can hear from me anytime. You want to hear from Joan. So first of all, tell them a little bit about how you got started in vintage or antiques and clocks.
Oh, well, 30 years ago, I found a clock at a garage sale, $5, and I wanted to get it fixed. So I opened the phone book, and oh my goodness, there were so many clock people, and just really didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. So I did find a couple of old men out of a house that fixed it for me. And I asked them if I could sit in, and when I picked it up and learned how to do it, and they showed me. So I became their apprentice for about 6 months. And then after that, I kind of took off and got books and clocks and started, trial and error whole thing. And 30 years later, I'm still working on them. It's fun. I love it.
And so do you do that out of this out of this shop, or is there a total different shop for your clocks and things?
I have a room upstairs in my house, and it's my clock shop, and that's where I have just wall-to-wall clocks and lots of parts, and I do take it home and work on it there. Now, people bring the clocks to me here at the store, and then they'll come back and pick them up after I work on them. So that works out really well. That way there's, it's an easy in, easy out, and we just keep in touch that way. So I love it. It's a good, fun hobby sort of thing.
And if you come, y'all, there's breakfast upstairs, diner next door, or a restaurant next door, Railroad Cafe, all the shopping, and then you even have like a little wine bar next door.
And entertainment, Cass Theater, and then
that's
Creative
right.
Learning Center. We've got all kinds of things, every single weekend, and every night we do something. It's so much fun. It's a good building, and it's haunted too.
Oh, well, I was good until you said she actually did tell me that the first time that I was here, and I was like, yeah, you probably should have let that slide or whatever, but I didn't have any problems. They were fine with me looking around and everything.
All nice ghosts, that's all.
Yes. What did she say? Kolaches.
Yes. That's Monica upstairs. She has the best kolaches.
Yes, that was so much fun. All right. Told you it was haunted. Yes. Oh, you told me it was haunted. Did you tell me?
Thank you. See, people know. People know it was haunted.
I didn't listen.
Oh, that's okay.
There's a shock, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let Joan talk. Again, you want to hear from her and not me. I'm going to be reading the chat. I told her I would kind of step in and out, but she's going to kind of get started. She's got several clocks here. Again, I've already had a little lesson. If you're just joining us, make sure that you say hey in the chat to let us know that you're here. We are here with Joan Huey of Clocks and Things and owner of Vogelsang Antique Emporium in Rosenberg, Texas. And she is going to tell us all about what to look for, what kind of clocks there are, what if you want to purchase a clock, how do you know if it's the right amount of money that they're asking for, or we have resellers. So if you could kind of help them know how to price their stuff, it would be priced for retail one way, and as a reseller, we might want to be able to resell that clock, like the little alarm clock that I told you I got. So y'all, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Joan.
Hey, thank you, Beth. Okay, so did you realize that pendulum clocks were invented in 1656? I just thought that was amazing. They've been around that long. Okay, so you're at an antique store, you're at a flea market, you're at an estate sale, and you're looking to buy a clock. So what do you look for? So that you know that it's worth the money that they're asking, and even that it's going to run. Okay, so this is my sweet little gingerbread clock. And they're kitchen clocks, originally called kitchen clocks. Sears and Roebuck sold them out of the catalog for $25, which was a lot back in the early 1900s. So this is a clock that you could find anywhere. There are a lot of them out there. So once you see it, you love the style. You like the fact that it's got a little temperature gauge, and it's got everything looking good there. So you open it up, and you see there's a face, there's hands, which is good. You got to look for the hands. Then you want to look and see if it has a pendulum. Okay, the pendulum is crucial to running the clock. All right, if it does, that's a really good thing. Another thing that a lot of clocks don't come with are keys. They have to have a key if you have holes in them. Okay, so these clocks will either come with one hole, which is clock only, two holes, which is a clock on one side and the chime on the other, or three holes, which would be like a Westminster chime, which are really very collectible, and really people love those. Okay, so this one is just two holes. So you've got a clock on one side, you've got a chime on the other. So the first thing you do if you have a key is put put that key in that little hole and make sure it turns. It'll only go one way. So as you can hear, it's ticking. That's a good thing. So you know that that side is going to work right, and that is the spring that you're winding. The other side you try, and that's the chime side, only goes one way, and that is ticking as well. So this is a really good thing. So this is getting to be a really good clock that you might consider buying.
So one key for all the holes?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly. I mean, there are exceptions, but for the most part, one key should be fitting both holes, okay? So now you've got to go back, and there's a leader back here. It's kind of hard to find, but if you put your little hand back there, you can feel it, and it's a hook that you hook the pendulum on, okay? And there it sits. Then you're going to take it, and you're going to try to move it back and forth. And if it ticks, that's a really good thing, because you're hoping that it will continue ticking and it will run.
I hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear it click ticking.
Yeah. Now, if it stops, it's a beat issue, and it may end up where you needed to take it to a clock repair person. And they will go in and they may oil it. Don't ever put WD-40 in a clock, please, because they all have special oil. The WD-40 just cakes everything up and it makes everything stop. And so don't ever do that.
So one of the questions was, does the key turn clockwise or counterclockwise, or you just have to determine?
Every clock is different, okay? This is an Ingraham, and even Ingrahams change. It just, I don't know what warrants the direction. But as you can see, it will not go one way. It'll only go
So that side turned
counter.
counterclockwise.
And then this one
Was
probably
clockwise.
is clockwise, right? Yep, there you go.
Because the springs are doing
Correct.
this.
And what you're doing is essentially winding the spring tight. The spring is your power, just like electricity and just like battery. Okay, so there you go. Now, move the hand to make sure it chimes. If it chimes right, you're going to get one at the half hour, and then you're going to get one at the hour. So let's go up here. There you go.
Oh, yay.
That little hammer will move up and down, and that's standard for these type of clocks.
Right there, y'all.
Yeah, and it's sweet. It really will. And a lot of them chime different. Some are a little tinny, some are richer. I really like the sound of this one, don't you?
Yes.
It sounds really
Somebody said, how do you tell age if it's not marked?
Okay, mostly you have to go into the movement, which means you have to unscrew, take the hands off, unscrew it, and then look at the movement. Now, this is an example of the movement. This is a different one, obviously. But this one, you can see the name of it, which is Accessions. There is no date on this one. And there's a patent number, which tells you it may be older. But there's really no way, unless there's a date. Sometimes they have the year at the bottom of the face.
Bring it up, y'all.
Yeah. See?
She said it's right here.
Right. But sometimes there is the date at the bottom of the face. It just depends on the manufacturer and whether they put the dates. Believe it or not, some of the oldest clocks, they don't date because that wasn't something they thought of back then. They just went ahead and made them as good as they possibly can. And just by the way, the older the clock, in my book, the better. The newer clocks, they just don't make them as well. They think you're just going to go ahead and replace the movement or throw the whole clock away. So these old ones are really my favorite and to work on because they're very fixable.
Dolores had asked, what is the oldest clock you've worked on?
Oh my goodness. I got a grandfather clock out of an old barn and and I have it still. And it is dated 1735. So, and it works in it, but it's
the first one, the pendulum clock. Was it a pendulum clock? No, grandfather is.
Yeah, grandfather is pendulum.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And it's a weight driven. And that's another thing. You get springs. This is a spring driven, and then the hanging clocks and even grandfather clocks tend to have weights that are the same type of power. And weights are really a little more dependable because the springs can be broken. And if a spring is broken, when you put your little key in there and it just spins, that is a broken spring or a problem with the click. Regardless, it's going to cost. So you don't want to mess with anything that won't wind for you. Okay, so that's important. Okay, so once you find it and you see it, and you want it, and you see all these little factors enter in and it's running, then I think you should buy it if you like it. And there's so many out there, so you definitely.
So this one's a little bit different because you said it has some added features on it.
Yeah, of course, this has a sweet little temperature gauge. It's got a balancer here. A lot of a clock has to deal with a balance. It's where the pendulum is moving on a steady basis and it continues running. And that's just a matter of making sure that the little bubble is in the middle. And this has that, so that's kind of nice. And this, of course, is a gingerbread clock. The other ones they have are called pressed wood clocks, but the gingerbread is all the hand carved, and oh, it makes it so pretty.
So if this pendulum slows down, does it need to be wound, or do you just re-rock the pendulum?
One of two things. It could be that the spring it's unwound, because that loses their power's over. Could be that it's off beat, and then that would be something that you really do need to take it to someone to try to get them to rebeat it. And you could try to start it up again. And it could be where you have it sitting. Some if they're like a fireplace mantle or something, they could be off balance. So you need to try to get your little balance.
Oh, the leveler.
The leveler, right. And then put pennies under it, or try to get it where the bubble's in the middle, and that may help balance it so it'll continue ticking for you. Okay?
Hey, Chicago lady, thanks for coming in. How do you, what do you do to keep this clean? I mean, you're not going to go inside and spray it and all that. But...
Right. Okay. Of course, obviously, the outside is just like a furniture polish and the glass and all that. But when it comes to the movement itself, it's protected back there. But it will get dirty and oily, and that's when it'll stop. If you had it for a long, long time, then you'll need to take it to a clock person like me, and I will take it, open it up, take this whole little piece out like this, and I'll have to take it apart, clean, oil it, check all the bushings, making sure that it's going to work again. Most of the time, I say that hesitantly, I can get it running again. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but see, this is one of the hammers on this type of clock. It's just fascinating when you think that this sweet little movement has been around for so many years.
Bring it a little bit closer so that they can
see how that looks
spinning.
Yeah, see how the spinning and the hammer. See, it's opposite to me, isn't it? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
opposite of.
Yeah, so this is what is in any winding movement, okay? And that's what you got. These are two holes. So it's pretty much like that one there, okay? Okay,
wait, first of all, you were going to did you tell us how old this particular clock was? We were going to show it to them up front.
Yeah.
Close.
Okay, this one is dated on the movement. And I think it was I wrote it down, 1875. So you have to take the face off and the hands, and then it's right there on the movement, and it says patent pending 1875. So yeah, it's been around a long time, but it runs.
All right, so we're gonna together pick this up, because I don't touch anything that's not mine.
It's
okay, so that you guys can see it. And here is the little door that will open.
Right.
You can see the inside.
Here, right.
And you can see all the beautiful hand-carved wood at the top. There's the little thermometer and the little leveler right here. Now, on the back had the paperwork for it. So
hard to read,
yeah.
but it is the paperwork, and it tells you that it's a 7-day clock, and it would have said Ingraham on it, which is the name of the brand. Some of the older brands, Seth Thomas, New Haven, Ansonia, any of those. There's some really great old German ones that are hanging regulators. They're actually Gustav Becker. And well, some of those are just amazing. And really, if you collect clocks, you look for the brand. The brands are really what makes a quality clock. Otherwise, you might just pick it out because you like it. It's pretty.
So because it's in great working condition, it has the key and the pendulum, all of the pieces of the add-ons are there, and it has the addition. What would this clock retail for?
Okay.
What do you expect to pay for it as a collector?
Unfortunately, clocks are not holding the value they used to. There was a time when you could get, $400, $500 for this beautiful little clock, but not anymore. I think $300 is realistic, and then probably someone would want to pay more like $250 or $200. It's too bad, but I think it's because people don't know how to handle them or how to work them. And by, hopefully me opening up some doors for you to consider having a clock, because when electricity goes out, they still run. Now, granted, yes, you have to give it some attention. You have to wind it every week. You have to make sure.
So once a week you wind it?
Most of these are 5 to 7 day clocks.
Okay.
Yes, not all of them. Some are 30 day. And some are 7 day. I'm sorry, I said 7. 1 day. Some of them are just a 1 day clock, and they're kind of a pain. But you do have those that will go, and you just pick a day of the week and wind it once every week, and there you go. Oh, one thing that I did not mention is you can even adjust the speeding up or slowing down if a clock is running fast or slow. This is that little screw at the bottom of this pendulum, and you bring that.
Show it to them close.
Oh, okay. Here you go. All right. So
It's going to be on this.
I see. Okay. So this screw right here, if you bring it down, then you're slowing down. If you bring it up, you're speeding up, and that will regulate your time. It makes they're centered. That's really confusing.
Yeah. StreamYard's backwards.
Anyway, so this is how you figure it out that way, and so you really can regulate it to be a perfect timing clock. Okay.
So my mom said it reminds her of the clock that our granny had, which is my great grandmother. And I remember Mom, the Legrands had that big clock, and I think it's a grandfather clock. And then I think my grandmother had a cuckoo clock. Remember, I hated that clock. Drove me nuts.
Yeah, they do cuckoo a lot, and they do make a lot of noise.
She says like a metronome. What can you wind it up and down like a metronome to speed it up?
Yeah, exactly. That's the same premise. Yeah, truly. And a metronome is actually wound with a spring as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So a lot of the same. And actually, oddly, music boxes have springs. And so I've actually managed to tackle a few of those because there's the same type of winding mechanism. And then they let it go, and you can have that beautiful music box. So those are awfully fun.
So hey, Miss Heather, and hey, Miss Janice, for coming in. What is the next clock that you want to show?
I just want to make you aware of other winders. Okay, so this is actually a hotel clock or a travel clock that you take long time ago. You would take to a hotel, and it actually does have a chime on it. So that's kind of cool. You did buy one though.
Yeah. So I told her that the only thing I knew about clocks, y'all, was that these hard case clocks, these little travelers, is if you get a puppy and the puppy won't calm down or quiet down, that you wind one of these hard case travelers, and it's good for hard case because they can't chew through it, and you wind it and stick it like under a blanket or in a little animal, and that calms the puppy. But I actually found one of these at Round Top. I got a blue hard case, and I think I hauled it for y'all. But she's showing you that it has the little winder and it has the alarm.
Okay, and real quick, if you get one of these and you wind it and it doesn't start ticking, shake it. It's got what they call an escapement in there, and the escapement needs to be triggered, and then it'll start ticking for you. So just don't think that it's not going to run, but try to shake it, and that may get it going. And the longer you run clocks, the better they are. It's just like a gear or a little finger or something. You need to just keep it running. And the more you keep it running, the better it'll run. So that always works.
So mine was blue, and it actually runs, and the alarm works in it. Now this one does not have the painted uranium on there. It's just the gold face numbers. And you know what? Debbie, our Vagabond Travels, she found some clock face stickers that are uranium with the numbers and the little hands.
Nice.
She found some of those at Round Top. It was just like a sheet of them or so. But these are kind of the ones that I know about only because of the puppy.
Right. And now the really valuable ones are called carriage clocks. And that was way back when they would actually carry them in carriages. And oh my gosh, if you have any of those, they're really, really collectible. And they're pretty pricey for a small clock, to be honest. Okay.
So these types, like if we're looking for them, what is their retail?
They could be $25. They're just, they're like 1950s, maybe 1940s. They're not. And so $25 is pretty good. If they run, you have to make sure to wind them. If they don't run, they're not worth anything. And you can't really replace those movements. So you just kind of have to hope that it'll run for you.
So I paid $5 for mine.
There you go.
I'm good.
That was a good one. Okay, so if you come across a clock that looks like this, all right, that's sweet, it's running, it's wonderful. It doesn't have holes, and it says quartz. So you know that it's not a winder. It's just a quartz, and it runs with a battery, which there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but I'm particularly fond of the winders because it makes you have a little more of an effort to keep it running. And it's kind of like you have a relationship with these crazy little clocks. But anyway, so this one is very replaceable. If you have one of these that don't run, it's so easy to replace the movement. You can buy those movements at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, they
Yeah.
all have them. Okay, so that's just what you want to look for.
This is like a mantle clock.
Yeah, and really it works fine, and it's a good clock.
Now you said this one was like a kitchen, and it also hangs.
It can, yeah. They're always called kitchen clocks when Sears Roebuck would put them in their magazine, or well, their catalog. Yeah, and they're called kitchen clocks. And again, that you can hang them. I don't think that has a hanger, but some of them have hangers, and then some of them have them where you can just set them on a little shelving unit in the kitchen. Most of those old houses have these, which is pretty cool. Okay, and then this is a sweet little bedroom clock, Big Ben, and that winds really well, just the same. But make sure if it doesn't run, you wind it. I mean, not wind it. You have to shake it. But this one runs really well. Okay.
And so we'll have some of the. Now this one says Big Ben. So is Big Ben the style?
It's the brand.
Big Ben is the brand.
Yeah, I think so.
And West
Clocks is the brand. That's the brand.
Big Ben is
the type of clock.
Okay.
It's a big band. I'm sorry, you're right.
And then you can tell y'all that it has a little bit of the glow in the dark stuff. Remember that movie Uranium Girls? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and this is the back of that one as well.
Okay. Does she have a question?
She says that, hold on. Jessica found a Big Ben clock made in Scotland.
Oh,
And
that's a really good one.
yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
She's another friend of ours that's in the UK,
Oh, good.
and she likes like all of the media stuff. Like,
Does it run?
reporters.
Does it run?
Do you know if it runs, Dolores?
Let's
Because that
hope.
would be really cool.
Right. And if it doesn't, you shake it, see if it'll go for you. I
Yeah,
hope.
tell her just to shake it. She'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. And then some of these clocks are
She said yes, it runs.
oh, good. That's always so nice. Okay. So one of these, this is a anniversary clock. This one is Danbury. It's actually a battery run. But if you have an anniversary clock that looks very similar to this, you only wind it once a year. And these are
anniversary. I get
correct.
it now.
And the little pendulum moves back and forth, and it's very much the same premise, except that you only wind it once a year. Now they're real hard to fix. So hopefully, if you have one, it's running, because sometimes they're just a real thin type of suspension, and it's just real hard to regulate. I guess that's the best way to put it. But I have a hard time. There may be other people that can fix them, but they're not easy for me. Anyway, so but those don't forget about the anniversary clocks.
And it's anniversary because it has this little spinning mechanism.
Yeah, and the mechanism is made so that it only needs to be wound once a year, and that's your anniversary.
Okay.
And so you get it for a wedding. And that's why you only wind it once a year, which is cool. And it works out well. Okay, the other one is electric.
This one is super cool.
There were a lot of these out and about for many years at 50s, 60s. And this is a Telechron, which Telechron made a whole bunch of novelty clocks and these type. If you see one you like it, plug it in. If it doesn't run, you don't want it. Don't mess with it. These are real hard to find, these movements, okay? So that's that one's running.
And so this one is electric, but it still has the set. The knobs for this one is setting the alarm and setting the time and turning on. That's a pretty heavy clock.
Well, and you've got that plastic, and then you've got that brass at the bottom, which makes it a little heavy. And of course, then it won't tump over. They really thought through that back in the 50s.
Now, if there's the plugs and all, are those all still good to use for when they're a 1950s clock?
Well, mostly, of course, if the wire is damaged, you don't want to mess with it. But if it's just a little brittle like this one, it seems to work okay.
There's a couple of people saying that they like that one.
Oh, good. Well, it's for sale.
We'll package it right up and send it to y'all.
Anyway, so yeah. Okay,
so there's some other, and these are just basic clock designs that are back here. These are all battery clocks.
Yes.
Here.
They are all battery, and the only big pain is when the time changes, because I have to go way up there and switch
change them all.
All, yes. But no, they're just fun, and I just happen to love clocks. I don't know why. It just happens.
So do you see clocks being a thing that people are, like they come in looking for specific clocks, or things that they are just like, oh, that's pretty and I'll pick it up?
Both. I think if someone's educated in regards to making making the decision to buy a clock that's a winder, then I think it's a lot easier for them to pick out one and check it out. Make sure that these things are part of the clock before you buy it. If they're not, it's not like you can't buy the clock, but you shouldn't have to pay full price, all right? And you can reach out to a clock person. We all have keys. We all have pendulums. Those are really universal, and we can definitely find the right fit for the clock if it doesn't have that. So don't think that you can't buy it. You just have to go out and get a little more of an expense on buying the pieces that make it work.
And so do you sell a lot? Do you find that you sell a lot of clocks, or it's just kind of, is there a season for clocks? Like people will come in and, you know, they want Christmas stuff at Christmas time, or do you think that it's like, how do you see clocks being resold?
You know, it's like I say, all antiques are like the stock market. You just don't know what's hot until you have it there for a while, and all of a sudden somebody wants one, and then somebody wants another one. I seem to have most luck selling grandfather clocks. People like those, and they will buy them, and I'll even set them up in their house so that to be sure that the clock works. These smaller clocks, they do sell, but a lot slower. I wish that they were more popular and people would buy more, because I think that they would be happy with them, because there's, you know, once they're running, there's no stopping them. They can run forever.
So did you say that the grandfather clock is a pendulum
Yes.
clock?
Yes.
And those are the ones that you can pull the weights down?
Yeah, you don't have holes in a grandfather clock if you pull the weights, and that's just, you know,
Right.
But that's how they're formatted. Some of them have holes in them, and then that would be where you do wind them up. And it just depends on how the grandfather clock is formatted. Howard Miller makes a gorgeous grandfather clock, and he's probably the most current manufacturer. And so they're pretty good clocks. They're not old, but they're okay.
They're not old, but they're okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So this one is probably like, I just love the design because I love wood. But so I love the design of that one. You have to have a pretty good mantle or a space to put something like that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It really is pretty. So Yash, there's a couple of more clocks in the shop. We couldn't bring everything right here, and I'm wondering if we should show them,
Sure.
like go on a field trip.
Sure.
I don't know how this will turn out because we're live, and I have to take it off of this, the phone off of here and see. So if you get motion sick, just hang tight, because there are a couple. Now they're all in this, all of the clocks you think are back there?
Yeah, I need to go turn the lights on.
Okay.
I'll go do that.
So I was thinking about this, y'all, as she was talking through, and she has so many different kinds in here. And I really appreciate Joan letting us come in on the day that the shop is not open. They are closed on Mondays, but she thought this would be a good day to come and talk clocks, because there's not any customers in the store. We've literally got a table right here and the tripod set up. So again, we're at Vogelsang Antique Emporium in Rosenberg, Texas. I know that Martha from Vintage Conversation and Tammy, Vintage Uprising Texas, when they came to see me at the show, they actually came over to some of these shops. She said there's about 15 in this area. So I saw Janice was in here. So Janice, I think you've shopped here in this area before, but it would be a great place to for all of us to meet up and do some shopping again, because I walked in and everything was new. So I'm pretty excited about that. She does have a card. You can ask her questions about her clocks and things. But this is her clock business. And then Vogelsang Antique Emporium is, y'all, it's 2 stories. So, and don't forget, Kalachi's right upstairs. So we're going to go on a field trip. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'll try to make it as easy as I can. I got to take it off. And we'll see, and I'll walk backwards. But here is the shop. Let me kind of turn you around. I'll go slow because my mom always says that I'm shaky with the camera. And this is the front of the shop. I will say that there was all kinds of new stuff in there. So I'm going to walk backwards if I don't run into anything. And yes, arms up. Yeah, because I should get a workout today. But we're going to go into the back room.
Okay, come back over here. This is where I've got a lot of
Look at all this stuff.
mantles up here.
Look, he's watching you, Dolores. All right, hold on. I'm coming around the corner. We are literally going on a live field trip. All right. Hold on. Got to be able to make sure that they can see. All right, there are
Up there, yeah.
Can y'all see that? There you go.
Yeah, some there.
Let me get a little closer so that you can see. Now, are all of these battery?
No. One is, these are winders. Look for the holes.
Oh, yeah.
So
winders,
wherever
look
you
for
see the holes, they are winders, okay? And then the ones that are just ticking over here, that's a battery. Then there's one that's got holes. So that's a really good way of determining whether it's an older clock or a new battery run. That's what you look for. Okay.
That's really tall up there, y'all.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, she's got just regular decorative clocks in there too.
A lot of battery.
And then down here she has, so there's another battery clock. Oh,
Now
there's a pretty one.
This is a 30-day. Okay. So
Okay. And I'm
okay. So this is a regulator. It's a Seiko, which they've made Seiko watches, and now they make Seiko clocks. And this is the same type, but it's 30-day. So it tells you it's 30 days, so you only have to wind it once a month, which is great.
If you can remember, I'd have to have like kind of alarm to tell me to wind my clock.
Well, once it stops ticking, you know you got to wind it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's all it takes.
All right, because when I came last time, that whole shelf that I showed you over here was full of, so you sold several clocks.
Yeah, every time I sell a clock, it just gives me the opportunity to put a new one there because I've got some.
Yeah, because that whole section right there was clocks.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we got started talking about it.
So we've sold a few. It's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
So I'll take you back around there. Natural sun is in here. Some of them are just decorative, which is fine. I mean, time is time. But there's a really cool one. I like the decoration of this one right back here. Can y'all see that?
Do you want me to pull it?
With the wood.
Yeah, now that's battery.
That's battery, but I love the wood design of that. Oh, and this one. No, that's okay.
No? Okay.
And then this one has the two. So that's clock and alarm.
Chime.
Chime.
Yeah, we call it chime. Yeah.
And so this is wind with no pendulum.
Exactly. Oh, it does have a pendulum in the back.
But it's going to be in the back.
Correct.
And then there's another one that just has the two and then the pendulum in there.
Yes.
So y'all, I've learned so much about clocks.
Yeah, you're a good student.
Oh, we're breaking up. Dolores says we might need to go back to the front.
It's the ghosts.
It's probably the ghosts. That's nice. So all of this is her shop. It's upstairs too. We'll see if we can get back to the front slowly. Let me know if y'all can still hear us, because we just wanted to give a little update about the clocks and things, just like her business, clocks and things. So again, Miss Jones, thank you so much
thanks again for having me. It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
I love talking.
Thanks for showing us clocks and teaching us stuff. So the cookie walk is coming up.
Yes, it's Saturday, this Saturday. The cookie walk is from 10 to 5, and we'll all have cookies. Every single store has cookies to give out, and we will definitely be giving discounts. So we're hoping that everybody will be coming and doing some Christmas shopping.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I don't know what else is up for the day, but I do have a live sale on Thursday not this Thursday. This Thursday is Thanksgiving. We will see if we hop on. It just depends on how our Thanksgiving goes. If I'm in a turkey coma, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But next Thursday on the 2nd at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm having a live sale Keys Collectibles. And then, y'all, something super fun is coming. Tuesday, December the 7th, starting at 9 a.m. in the morning, we are having a multi-seller drop sale hop. So y'all, I have people from 9 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening, every hour. So some of the people, I hope I can remember most of them, but Dee, Thrill of the Thrift, Erin from Collection Vintage, me, Michelle, Daniel, Barbie. There's a ton of us. Stephanie, our retro reflection. There is a ton of this. AJ's retro and vintage. Patrick. All of us are doing drop sales. So we are recording drop sales and posting them in a certain time. And you can literally just hop from one sale to the next. So I'm super excited about that and want to thank everybody who is participating for participating in that. Don't forget Friday with Daniel. Yes, Friday. Thank you, Dolores, and you. Friday after Thanksgiving. I don't do Black Friday shopping early in the morning because I don't do mornings. I'm not a morning person. But we are going to go on at 11 Central, 12 Eastern time. Daniel, Dolores, and I are going to be playing a game here live on my channel. So it is a drawing game. Now, my mom paid for art lessons and she wasted her money. I can paint like nobody's business. I can flip furniture. I can do all things. So they got cards with words on them and each has a different list. We each all have a different list. And this should be a lot of fun. I told them we cannot curse on the channel. There should be no naughty drawings, but you know, I don't know. Maybe Daniel and Dolores are better drawers than I am, but I am not an artist by any means. So those are some of the fun things that are coming up on the channel. Again, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful shop with us and all of your clock knowledge.
Make sure you guys come by if you're in the neighborhood, and I would love to see you all. And thanks again for having me.
And if you come, let me know because I'll meet you up here.
Good job.
We can always shop.
Thanks.
So if you're not already subscribed, y'all, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up to let us know that you like this type of content. So we're going to end now. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. And as I always say, y'all stay pretty and be sweet. Bye-bye.
Bye.